Over where you are, how much are you managing these days? Several billions or so?
Yes, close to 10 billion, Susan, yes.
Let me ask you about the last few weeks of trade. Has there been any redemptions similar to what we saw in 2008? Because that's what we were talking about, just this panic and fear on the markets once again.
Right. Well, there are some net redemptions, but they are very small, Susan.
Yeah.
And in fact, we actually have seen some investors who take a longer-term view and actually came in to buy some, because obviously the valuations are cheap, but the sentiment obviously is still very poor out there. Yes.
That sounds really encouraging that you have buyers and investors willing to put cash into your fund despite the the comments that we keep hearing about depression and recession. What about the probability right now of a global downturn? What are you seeing?
I think that one has to accept the fact that the economies are not going to do so well over the next 6 to 12 months. But I think that Asia overall should be able to avoid, a recession. I think that we have enough domestic growth to drive our economies. But I think that Europe and the US will grow either flat, that is the optimistic case, or maybe a mild downturn, yes.
Yeah, okay, a mild downturn, meaning that we see a double dip in the US?
Yeah, maybe between something like, plus 0.5 to -1.
Right.
That would be, a mild downturn.
Okay,
yes.
but that's for the US. What about Europe? I mean...
Europe, I think that it depends on what will happen over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I think that if the authorities, if the governments in Europe are really keen, are really... have totally decided to support the euro and do whatever it takes, then they will avoid it. But, should they actually, dwindle over a decision to save the euro or to save the European banking system, then I think we have a problem next year.
That's interesting, because RBS was right here on Friday, the chief European economist. He says it's impossible for Europe to avoid recession right now, because take a look at the EFSF. They're saying it's not enough cash. IMF says they don't have enough money to help supporting economies. To me, that doesn't sound like a very rosy picture, does it?
Yes, no. I think that you're quite right. That's what the consensus now is betting on, that nothing great will happen in Europe. But I think that when one deals with politics, one should never, discount the possibility, excuse me, of something happening.
For instance, we got a news report this morning saying that the ESM fund, which is like this new bailout fund, will be started up in 2012, next year. Is that helpful?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Yes, I think so, because I think that with the banking system, what you need is confidence.
Right.
You don't want people to pull out, the deposits from the banking system, whether it's retail or institutional. And as you know, in the U.S. at the moment, in Europe, in fact, a number of Asian banks and U.S. banks have started to pull out deposits or pull out lines of credit to the European banks, and that is a big issue, because that's at the institutional level. Now, if the retail depositors also start to queue up to pull the money out, that's finished.
So we're talking about bank runs.
Yeah, we could be talking about bank runs. I think that some bank runs have already taken place in Greece.
Wow.
But we don't want that to actually spread to the rest of Europe.
Globally.
So, yeah, no, to Europe first. So that's what we want to avoid. So I think that, European governments have to do something to re-establish some kind of confidence and trust in the
Tim
banking
Geithner
system.
was talking about bank runs and catastrophic risk.
Exactly.
To the global system, though, not just to Europe.
I'm not sure whether it would happen in Asia, or let's say in the case of the U.S. I think the U.S. has already had its run in 2008.
Right.
I think that, the government has bailed them out, so I think that it's safe. And I think England is safe as well, or the UK is safe. But Europe, I think that the trust is still not there quite as yet.
All right, Khiem. Well, thanks for dropping by this morning. We'll see if we see gains, considering we did see Wall Street close higher on Friday, right?
Yes, that's right.
It's good to see you. Thank you for that. Khiem Do of Baring Asset Management.